Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
Hello and welcome to the Outside View presented by Women's Cricket Zone and brought to you by BSV, Puma, Food and Wellness, MRI Hospitals and MPL Sports Foundation. Journey, they say, is more important than the destination. So if the Pakistan team today look back at their journey, they would be very, very proud. To discuss the outing of Pakistan in this World Cup, I have alongside me Marina, Iqbal and Shathira Jakir. Welcome both of you to the show. Of course, I was talking about the journey of the teams and of course coming to you, Marina, first. They broke their losing streak of 13 years and we know how special it is for any team to go there, perform, break the losing streak and finally get that win in their account. That should be a great positive for Pakistan looking back at their campaign.
Well, definitely. I mean, there could have been more games than just one, so that might be a painful thing. But yes, breaking that streak, I think that might have not been on their mind, but it is a big thing. I mean, has been a lot of criticism going on that why they kept on losing for so long. But the ground realities are far different from what people can just see the tip of the iceberg. I mean, great positives to pick up again for the whole campaign, but this one, yes, there would be a huge sigh of relief for them. They did break it and they have the capability. They were so close in games, even not in this World Cup, but even before. But unfortunately, it couldn't really work in their way. But yes, one thing to pick from this World Cup and now sort of pile on it, that would be a really good positive for them.
And to close games as well, that to their account. Look back at their one of the highlights of the Pakistan in this world, the return of Bisma Maroof. Such an inspiration there. And every story that has come in this World Cup, whether it was the return of Afi Fletcher, of course Susie Bates coming in after her injury there. All these gives us so much more to adore cricket, to take inspiration from that. Coming from the maternity, that it's very difficult. But Bisma Maroof to baby Fatima take highlights in the World Cup. How special and how inspiring that was, Shathira.
Yeah, it's very special. It was a very special moment for everyone, for Bisma as well, for everyone, because I have been through in that situation once when I was playing in my Premier League and I give birth to my baby, and after that when I came back, it was not easy for me to come back. So the first thing is, like, when you become a mom, you have like, you will get lots of more responsibility that you never done before that. So it's totally new thing for a mom to understand the baby's timing. And though Fatima is very little actually, she is a breastfeeding baby. So it is very difficult for a mom to understand the baby's timing and the different country. And though she have to maintain the match, and she was the captain, she had to maintain the team as well. And with that, she have to think about the baby as well. So when you are a captain, you have to think about the team, you have big responsibility for the team, and with that you are a mom also. So she had to do lots of had to face lots of challenges, definitely. And after being mom, the first thing is, though she was very much what else fit for the game, but after that, I think they like everyone have little bit confidence, they maybe everyone have a little bit less confident before being mom. She was totally fit and she was going through a regular process, and after being mom, lots of things have changed in her body, and lots of things actually with her mind as well. Lots of things keep going on, like what people will say if she will not do good performance, that maybe people will say like after being mom her performance got down, or maybe her confidence or fitness with everything. I saw Bisma is much fitter than before. When she was before being mom, she was like how she was, but after being mom, I saw she lose lots of weight and she looks more fitter, because she had to work more than the other girls for become fit after being mom. I must say, like Pakistan Cricket Board is the best, one of the best cricket board who took the challenge. Like after being mom, she came back as a captain. That was the most important thing. Like she could be came back as a normal player, but she got her place as a captain. Came back in a big stage. So I really appreciate that thing. And the Bisma Maruf, like how she came back, her mentality and her fighting courage, everything actually encourage everyone in the whole world, not even only the cricket players, all the athlete in the world, everyone. I think we have to salute her, how she came back.
We have to salute her and we have to also celebrate her. Of course, we at Women's Crick Zone, we did a concept story on her and you gave your voice to that, Marina. Watching the entire video, I was full of emotions. It probably felt like we should just grab every bit of inspiration that this women Bisma Maroof has given us, and that's a special thing to do, because 45 days I think is what she took to come back and giving a birth to another life, and then coming back to cricket, captaining the side in this World Cup. It's not only an inspiration, but such a big thing for cricket and cricket globally as well.
Well, if anyone could pull that out, it had to be Bisma Maroof. I mean, I've seen her joining Pakistan team when she was 15 years old, and then making her way up gradually, working on fitness, and from very early age and from very early days in her cricketing, experience, she knew that she had to do something extra to make an impact at international cricket, and that her mindset actually helped her achieve all those goals. But yes, becoming mom, I think that she had to start over from zero. But I remember I was there in the camp when she came up with the news, and it was such a tricky moment. I mean, it had two different emotions, because obviously she was happy that she was conceiving, but on the other hand, all her effort being put in, her investment as a captain, her investment in the team as a player. She worked really hard aiming that World Cup. So she was in all doubts that what is going to happen, what my future will be, how my family will support or not. So again, we have been playing together, and it's a good thing that we all were there to just have a conversation and understand what she's feeling right now. And again, I think the PCB board, the chairman, and Wasim Khan especially, gave us a huge, push that do whatever you want to do and whatever you think is best for them. So everyone has a huge role to play in coming up with that parental policy and making sure that it was about time, for that to come up. But again, starting off with Bisma Maroof, she was in two minds that what is she going to do, but even from that moment, she said that it's not over for me. I want to represent Pakistan. I want to do more for Pakistan. So yes, I'm going to have my baby, and I will carry her alongside me while representing Pakistan. So that was the clear mind she had, and the way she worked on it. I mean, that's brilliant. Not everyone could do that. Firstly, you have to fight yourself emotionally, mentally, physically. I mean, there are a lot of changes, like Shathira mentioned. Physiologically, she had to go through a lot mentally, and after having a baby, we all know that postpartum things can really be tough. But again, like I said, I know what type of character Bisma is. If anyone could have pulled it through, it definitely was Bisma. And the way she did, she came back, she worked on her fitness. She knew that she had to meet certain standard to get selected in Pakistan, and then have to perform to able to retain that captaincy. So that's the process she did. She did not skip any of it. So that's where you have to give credit to Bisma. I mean, it's never easy, and obviously a huge shout out to her family, to her husband, who were always at her back. And again, she went through the process. She played the selection matches. She performed. She had meetings with everyone, and you could see that leader again shaping up.
Definitely, and we were glad that she chose that path, and we're going to cherish her journey and her effort in this World Cup for ages and for times to come, because it's a special thing from her that she did, and a big inspiration for all of us as well. But looking at Pakistan's outing, the individual performances there, and one thing that of course stands out is the century that came in from Sidra Amin. We of course know that she became the first player from Pakistan to do so in the Women's World Cup, and that performance coming in from her would have meant a lot to that dressing room, Marina.
Definitely not just to dressing room, to Sidra Amin and also players following her, because now Pakistan team and players have set a certain level, and they all know that you have to do something different to be able to be successful at this level. Sidra Amin, we all knew that she had potential for day one. There were few things that needed to be, assessed and addressed as a player, and that exactly what she did. She was a brilliant fielder. She was athletic. She always wanted to do her best. Technically, yes, she might be limited, but what stood out for her was that she knew her strengths and she knew her weaknesses, and that's sort of where she tried to build her innings. She got dropped, did not had a good domestic tournament. She came back, worked on her weaknesses, and now you could see the result. Getting a century in a World Cup, I mean, that is exceptional, and that could tell that she ticked all the boxes correctly when she was out and away from the team. Coming back to her mindset, again, she wants to do something different. She wants to make an impact. A few things that were needed to be addressed were in sort of her strike rate and probably getting a bit more skillful as an opener. Yes, I played with her. I had the opportunity to have conversations every now and then, and she likes to learn, and that's more important for the individual player who wants to improve. That's the first thing they need to have in themselves, and that's brilliant how she came back. She made an impact, and I hope that's just one century, many more to come, and she will learn a lot from that experience. Getting to 100 in a pressure situation, that's never easy. So I hope and I wish her all the best, and I would love to see more centuries coming at international level from her.
Definitely, we'll all love to see more of these centuries and more of these inspirational stories coming in from everyone in cricket. But as we before we mentioned about the first win for Pakistan in the World Cups, they broke their losing streak. And Nidadar had a very important role to play in that, Shathira. We saw against West Indies, altogether different. Like the passion and aggression that she brings to the table is what we saw in that game. We were talking about her form in the initial few games of this tournament, but in that game against West Indies, she yet again came and displayed her class and told us that experience is something you can't buy from supermarket.
Yeah, that's true. And Nida is the player, like she's always been a champion. So whenever team is in the pressure, whenever they need it, and Nida have done her work always. And how she played with West Indies, that was like very inspiring for everyone, because like they had the belief in themselves, like they can do it, and they did it actually. And how Nida fight and how Nida bowled in that spell, it was amazing. She played very well, and for the team she played a very important role.
Definitely, and as they say that they've been in that situation, they've done that before, and that special celebration that came in from her after she took those wickets, Marina, tells you a big story also.
Well, definitely. I mean, she's that sort of a person. If she is not able to perform on a given day, she would go back and be very frustrated, because not only she has set a certain level and certain reputation for her, but all other players do look up to her because she's the fighter sort of a character. She likes to make impact. She likes to win games. So whenever she has a day off, or whenever it's not working, things are not working for her on field, she would go back, rethink, reassess, and I've seen her work hard, do the hard yards in, and come back and make a statement. And that's exactly what she has done the other day. The previous games, her bowling was slightly on the expensive side. She really couldn't make breakthroughs. But in that game, from ball one, you could see that she was calculated. She wanted to, sort of bring all her experience and aggression in her bowling. She bowled really smartly, she utilized the conditions, and that's what experience can tell you. You can understand the conditions and adjust according to them really quickly. And again, it has to do a lot with the times you've played against West Indies. You sort of know the weaknesses of the oppositions, but again, you have to execute well and know and have certain skills to be able to capitalize on the opportunities. And that's exactly what Nida has done. I mean, her whole spell, you could see that each and every ball had a purpose, and she knew that in what areas she had to bowl. Again, I think she would not be happy with her batting, but I'm sure in coming days or coming tournaments, you would see that she has done a lot of work, because that's what she likes to do. She goes back, addresses her, because she likes to come in that playing 11 with a purpose and with a certain reputation. And, with that celebration, obviously the Freezy style, we've seen her do it again and again. And that kind of, adds a pressure, because her ideal is Lala. So she carries that reputation as well.
Definitely. And as you said that they capitalized the momentum they received in the West Indies, and they saw them secure a victory, but they weren't able to capitalize the momentum against South Africa and Bangladesh as well, Shathira. Those were two very close games, and that could have went either way. So probably that is something that Pakistan had the momentum. They tried to get in the game, gave a good fight there, but just couldn't get to the finish line owing to not able to get more of the momentum they received.
Yeah, obviously that thing I told, it's all about experience. The more experienced player can take the pressure, can take the momentum, but the inexperienced players, actually, they didn't have that much of uh, pressure handling situation. They didn't face, maybe. So it was very difficult for them how they fight. They got the momentum, but after that they couldn't finish most of the time. So it's the same thing happened with Bangladesh and Pakistan in this World Cup, I think. And the other teams was more experienced than these two teams. That's why they can take the momentum and they own the match. But for Bangladesh and Pakistan, it was almost the same position. But I think this was the starting for these two team. So if the players is going to play the next World Cup, we can see the difference from this World Cup to next World Cup, if there will be almost the same players, at least 8 9 players. So they learn a lots of things from this World Cup, and they played really very well, especially Bangladesh and Pakistan. Though they're in 7 or 8 number, it doesn't matter. Like they the uh, what else, they're not good team. They played very well with most of the team, and they fight very well. Yeah, end of the day, everyone will count about the point and how many match they have owned. But they really had good fight with all the teams, and they were very close.
Definitely, cricket is a close game. You just lose sometimes by mere margin, and that doesn't really go down to make that doesn't really allow judgment on any of those teams. But of course, after the tournament wrapped up for Pakistan, Bisma Maroof came in there and said that we need to come together as a team. And we saw some very close games there, Marina. We saw Alia Riaz, Bisma Maroof, Nida Riaz, and Muniba Ali also, though a young prospect there, but she got the opportunity. She performed for the side. So there's a lot of skill set there, but they need to come together, and then the things would look pretty much better for Pakistan.
Well, yes, definitely. I mean, they've got the experience, they've got the skills, and we've seen each and every individual has the capacity to win games for Pakistan on any given day. But at the end, I think, especially for the longer format, they need to learn sort of how to win games, that art actually. And that, yes, comes with the experience as well. But again, how they can manage and organize their skill set, their combination, that actually also helps a lot. I think since 2 or 3 years, Pakistan has earned that sort of reputation of almost winning. So I think that's where they would love to change and bring up more players who know the art to finish the innings. I think, yes, probably the top order have been struggling. That's one area they would love to look. But they've got experience. They've got experienced player. Alia did not actually click. That would have made a huge difference, because we know that once she get into the zone, she can take the game away. Nida Dar also had her ups and downs, but I think certain mindset needs to be changed for Pakistan, because they have been reaching games very close, but ending them, that's where they've been struggling. And also that sort of pressure at that certain times, that needs to be addressed. They've got plenty of individual exceptional players that can deliver, but again, yes, if you look at the bigger picture, all of them coming together and making contribution each and every game, that's where Pakistan has been lacking. There have been a couple of performances in every game, but all together they couldn't really finish and cross the line. But again, I think I've been talking about this in their batting. They have to change their approach, their mindset, because where the modern game is going, if they don't do that, they might be falling a bit more behind of the other teams.
As we look at their campaign, of our Pakistan's campaign, there are a lot of positives, as you guys mentioned, that they can take going ahead. But talking about the way ahead for Pakistan now, they are going to play against Ireland and then Sri Lanka, and a tour of Australia coming in. It's going to be a big moment for them. Marina, how do you see the team shaping up for these upcoming challenges?
Well, definitely. I mean, we've talked about how the international tournaments, how bilateral series, how international leagues can actually affect and aid not just players but teams overall. I think that's a brilliant initiative. Ireland is a pretty decent team. Australia they'll be facing, so they are the world 11. World number one team. So there's a lot to learn from them. But again, coming back to Pakistan, I think there might be few changes expected. I think there are a lot of opportunities for the youngsters. They've got some decent backup in the shape of Pakistan 11, but for me, I think a lot has to do with the domestic structure as well. They need to sort of plan out these tournaments, looking ahead as to where and when they can, sort of inject few new players and give them a certain time period and a certain experience, so that they can learn and develop sort of skills that are required at international level. So I think Pakistan should be looking at these sort of opportunities as where they can develop players, that especially in that top order. Or if I talk about another concern for Pakistan, that's the death bowling. So I would be looking and I would be hoping that Pakistan management would come up with certain players who have the ability to just put them in playing 11, give them experience, give them the sort of taste of international cricket going ahead. So these type of tours obviously gives a lot of exposure to the youngsters, but also experienced players as well, because they can learn and deliver a lot at international level. They can learn certain skills, and picking up from this World Cup, I think Pakistan would definitely have their list where they would like to work as individual and as a team as whole.
And speaking of domestic circuit, as you rightly mentioned, the women's PSL is going to be played, and that is going to be a great thing for the Pakistan players. Also, we'll see that they'll get more opportunities. They can get those players from the grassroots. They'll face those tough situations, and that will eventually help them in the tournaments like the ICC events. Shathira.
Yeah, it's a very good initiative from Pakistan Cricket Board. They will play with all the Pakistani players will get the chance to play there, and with the foreign player, and they will get a very good competitive tournament there. So it will be definitely world class standard. So it is a very good thing for Pakistani cricket players as well, because though they are not in the national team, they are in lineup, and they are not getting chance to play in the national team, though they have very good players in their lineup. So they will get chance to play in this PSL with the most experienced players and the foreign players. So it's a good thing for other players as well. In the whole world, there are not so many leagues for women's cricketers. So if they will arrange this tournament, so all the women's cricketers will get one more platform to play in international class tournament. And definitely from IPL, PSL, and women's BPL is going to start soon as well. And though the Big Bash is a different kind of game, there are only a few players get chance to play there. But I believe that in PSL, BPL, in IPL, lots of players will get chance to play. So it's a very good thing for women's cricket.
we'll see that reflect at the international level also. Marina, your thoughts on the PSL, and of course the way the team has shaped up under David Hemp as well. We also need to talk about that because we've seen him serving the side, and a lot of changes coming in from the approach of the side. How do you see that, and how this entire PSL thing is going to benefit Pakistan in at the international level to improve their game further?
Well, definitely having a women's PSL will aid Pakistan and Pakistan women's cricket, but I have a slightly different stance, especially given how much resources we have at the grassroots level. For me, if you want to have a league, if you want to have a certain international tournament, there has to be purpose behind that. And getting all these league, obviously, it is a platform for the young players, but again, you want to provide that competitiveness, you want to provide a certain quality because you're providing and sort of synchronizing that international level at your domestic, at your home. So I think you have to have a certain quality of players so that they can actually challenge each other. Otherwise, if it's just for the sake of organizing a league, that would not actually help Pakistan. So I feel that again it's a brilliant initiative, but how and what players and how they will sort this out will actually be a big question, because you will be picking again. For me, that is the same stance for domestic teams. I've seen last year four teams. A fourth team was included in the domestic circuit, but because we don't have a lot of backup, we don't have a lot of pool of players. The certain standard and the certain quality did fell down. And what happens is that for in a bigger picture, when international players come and play that sort of domestic, it type of takes the pressure off, because you can get away easily. There might be loose bowling. You can get some more chances in the field. So that sort of easiness can reflect coming into international standard. So I feel for me, you have to have a certain purpose, and that purpose should be quality cricket, quality matches, and competitiveness. Only then you can utilize that sort of platform that can reflect players and that can actually help players to deliver at international level. For me, I think yes, women PSL is necessary, but what's more important is to work on a lower tier where you can provide certain set scale, where you can provide a certain environment to the players so that you can bridge that gap. And again, the lower tier can, when they start to challenge the national team, that's when you understand that okay, the pathway is right. So I think that that's another point where Pakistan board should be looking, and women cricket management should be looking. Again, for women's PSL, yes, I think you have to have maybe a limited number of teams just to give a purpose to that tournament and give that competitiveness and quality. You have to set a bar for women's PSL so that every player coming into that league should know that they have to know certain set of skill. They have to have a certain mindset and fitness to be able to come and make an impact. Otherwise, just organizing that, it's not going to be helpful in a longer run.
Definitely. It would be interesting to see how it unfolds after all the perspectives that you've put in front of us, of course, Marina. So this was all about the Pakistan's review, a few close and key games for them, Bisma Maruf's comeback, a little cute moment of baby Fatima as well, and a lot more positives for the team to take going ahead. So we'll of course join you with the reviews of other teams as well. Until then, you stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone for all the updates on women's cricket.